Alright, Sagittarius, it is time for your August reading. I've picked your deck, and today we'll be using the Phantasmagoria Vampyre Tarot. And I'll go ahead and start your reading. And then stick around after, because I've also been doing a dynamic between you and your pet. So if you have a pet, or you're thinking about getting a pet, might be a good video to check out, which I will link at the end of this video. And let me know if you enjoy that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get your 10 cards and do your storyline. We've got 5 so far. We have the 8 of Knives, the 10 of Grails, the 10 of Skulls, the Priestess, and 2 of Skulls. We need 5 more cards. Oof. They're jumping. So we also have Fortune, Temperance, and I'm waiting on 3 more. We have the Daughter of Skulls. The 9 of Scepters. In this deck, knives are swords, grails are cups, skulls are pentacles, and scepters are wands. Just waiting on 1 more card. I also just saw the number 222, so that may be meaningful to some of you as your angel number. Definitely go look that up. And take that message, take that message with you. I'm not picking one of those because there's too many I didn't really see. We also have the Star card, and that makes our 10. I will set these aside in case we need to clarify anything. So with the 8 of Knives here, we have a Capricorn looking figure chained to a pillar, and we can see that there's already 2 others that are dead in the background, one here on this side and one here on that side. There's also scribed on one of them, it looks like the symbol for Gemini, and you can see, of course, he's sad. It's like this is like nearing the completion of a cycle, and it's a difficult time, but there's also a butterfly here on one of the lily pads. It's kind of hard to see in this lighting. And then on the lily pads, there are also blooming some lilies. And then on the other side of that, there are crows and vultures kind of circling around at the top. And it's kind of hazy, so it's difficult to see. And this one seems like it is a difficult situation. Whichever way you look at it, it is a difficult situation. But there are still 2 sides to the coin. So don't be fixated. And I also see the butterfly there as kind of a sign of hope, because when the butterfly goes into its chrysalis, it does not know what it's going to become. Like, they literally like kind of dissolve themselves into goo. So like that doesn't seem like a pleasant situation, but perspective is everything, because there's beauty and there's like the vultures and stuff. So, but there is that haze where you really can't see where this is going, and it could be the end or it could be the beginning of something beautiful. We also have the 10 of Grails here, which has, I want to say Pisces. I think that's Pisces on there. And this is, of course, with Grails, that is emotion and water. And she's really she's at peace. Well, more than peace. She's like, it's blissful. She's happy. She's content. So this is in your emotional space, being happy and content, which is interesting, which it says more so that this struggle that you're dealing with is not an emotional struggle. This is, and of course with it being knives or swords, it's more of a mental aspect. And then we also have the Ten of Skulls. So it's like emotionally and like financially, I'm going like this, like it's money. Financially and emotionally, you are in a really good place. So this struggle that you're going through is more mental and I feel like maybe it's more to do with like your work. So not necessarily just, it's like it's mental, but it's also like there's not really a lot of passion up here. But then we also have the Priestess here, and she's kind of like a guardian, almost like of a feminine energy type feel. And I was talking about this in someone else's reading, how she is kind of a guardian of like Mother Earth and having all the woodland creatures there on her skirts. And they're again prominently featured. It's really hard to see because it's small on the camera, but she also has a lot of butterflies and stuff. So I feel like what it is struggling with a becoming, but it is not in an emotional space. And it's funny because it's like, it's not, this isn't a financial struggle, but that doesn't mean that it's not around like your work and your passion, if that makes sense. But here again, you are protected. And it's also interesting because she does have a snake on her arm. It's like there could be some deception here, but I feel like that also goes back to the fog that we're dealing with, where you can't really see through the haze what everything is becoming, but know that you are protected. And this isn't like, you're not going to end up homeless in your situation. We also have the Two of Skulls. And I think I want to say that's Capricorn. I could be wrong. I'm not super great with the little, when they have the like little almost, I want to call it runes. There's a girl here who is standing next to a mirror looking at herself, and it almost has a Gemini feel to it, with almost a twinship, but they are both her, and it's different aspects of herself. So even though you are with the Ten of Skulls, like in the fulfillment of that cycle and that pattern, like you are manifesting abundantly, like you do have the physical possessions, there's a new aspect of that coming into play, where, I mean, with each cycle being completed, that doesn't mean that you start over and now like you don't have possessions or you don't have finances. It's just that when you start a new journey in that aspect, you're moving to a new level, not that you are starting over. We also have Fortune. And I kind of look at this one as the wheel as well, and it's almost got some creatures on it that are like, it makes me think of the fates, the three fates. And there's roses blooming all around it in all kinds of colors. So there's so many options. It's like, but the wheel has turned. And there's also symbols for each element on here. In a way, the wheel has turned and it's time for something new. It's time for a change. So it's not that what you've had wasn't good enough. It's just its season has passed and now we go on to a new season, and there's new abundance in this new season. So then here we actually have Temperance, and I want to say that is Sagittarius. Let me grab the book really quick and double check that, because I want to know. Sorry guys, All right, so I have the book here. It is the Phantasmagoria. And I'm going to look up the Temperance card. I'm going to have to go back and read this book again because it's got some really interesting things in here that I didn't really see before. Where are we at? Okay, the cards. That's what we want to know. The Empress. Oh, I wish these had numbers on them too because I don't know where I'm at. Justice, the Hermit, Hanged Man, Temperance. All right. It is Sagittarius. All right. So this is you. And you can see that you're so powerful there, and you have your cauldron of fire. You're pouring blood into it. You have an arrow in your hand. That is like a powerful pose. And yet behind you, there's that portal open where you can see the fire coming out of Earth's core and your wings. So it's like you are in your full essence in this situation. Fortune is in your favor. Fortune is truly in your favor in this situation. So I think when you're really feeling this, remember that. Like, you have the power, Sagittarius. You truly have the power. And it's, as far as your manifestations, remember that you are only manifesting, so like this is what you've asked for. You may not see the way that it is bringing you what you've asked for, but it is. We also have the Daughter of Skulls here, and she's burning a candle on top of a skull, and she's kind of gazing off into the distance, not really focused on the here and now. It's almost like, though, that she's looking out into the future, not in a way of daydreaming, but almost, I want to say like a seer. Like, when you see your future in that way, you're not just daydreaming, you are literally seeing how your life is going to be. So, and that's not to say that you don't have control over that, because you do. I'm just saying, when you're spending, law of attraction, when you're spending your time visualizing, that's really how it's going to be. So plan well, visualize well. We also have the Nine of Scepters here. I'm really liking where this is going, because this started out with a lot of other energy, and I feel like we're coming back into fire. But I also want to point out that in this reading we have the Priestess, Fortune, Temperance, and we have the Star. I haven't gotten to the Star yet, but that's 4 major arcana. So this is a big shift. This is a big a time of major changes for you. We also have Sagittarius showing up again. It's on her pendant. I don't know if you can see it. But we have a woman who's in a cemetery, but she's dancing, and there's a full moon rising over her. And it's like, I'm hearing a song. I see a full moon, a blue moon rising. I see trouble. But at the same time, she's not worried about it. Like, I feel like this is here, like the bones and everything. She's in a cemetery dancing, like dancing over the bones, like the naysayers, the people who are like, you're not going to be able to do this. Like, I feel like she's really kind of almost celebrating herself here. And that's not to exclude masculine in this. This is Sagittarius, but there's a strong feminine energy here, and there's I'm seeing that in your reading. So, and also I heard somewhere, and I don't remember exactly where I heard this, but it was talking about the shift of where masculine has been very dominant for like the thousands of years. And now we see with feminism this big shift where the feminine is coming back in, and I see it almost like a pendulum of where it swings to one extreme and it swings back, and things are always shifting, but as the pendulum swings, the vacillation becomes less, and it kind of comes down to that central point as it loses momentum. So it's more so of things pulling the other way, which isn't to say it's to the exclusion of, but more so bringing balance into the perspective. So I think about that in your development journey, because of the 10 cards, the only one that has anything masculine in play is this first card. And all the other ones, except for Fortune, which does not have masculine or feminine depicted on it, but all of the other cards have feminine. The last one being the Star card here. And this is actually Aquarius, so if you are dealing with someone, this may be the point of your story where Aquarius comes in. But you can also see she's pouring blood onto roses. Some of them are dead, some of them are living. Like it's almost like she's reviving. And I think Aquarius is also the water bearer. And there's also that guiding light in the background. So if you have, look at where you have Aquarius in your chart. Or what house it is in, and if you've got someone that you trust, that you go to advice, maybe they're in Aquarius, maybe they have a message for you, and I would talk to them about your situation, or get more connected with whichever house you have Aquarius in. But spend some time there, and also like take some quiet time to meditate and to visualize, because I feel like that's going to be very important for you to have a clear idea of where you're going, because even though you cannot see it right now, the wheel has turned in your favor, and you are really in your power here, Sagittarius. You are in control of this situation. So I hope this was helpful for you. Again, stay tuned, check back in with us, because we do have those pet readings, you and your pet, the dynamic there. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you for watching.